afternoon. It's a cool March day here in Northwest Missouri, and we're going to talk about gardening because one of these days it's going to be warm and sunny, and we're going to be outside all the time. But today, we're going to start doing our gardening indoors. I'm Debbie Davis, University of Missouri Extension 4-H. With the help of University of Missouri Extension horticulture resources and gardening in our 4-H curriculum, there's so many things you can learn about gardening. I'm going to break it down into a few simple steps today, and I would encourage you to go to the University of Missouri Extension website if you're looking for more specific gardening information. It's all there. As I said, I love to garden. I'm excited about this gardening season, but today it's cold, rainy, my garden soil isn't ready, my garden isn't ready. There's a whole lot of things that have to be done outside, but we can start indoors by planting some of the seeds for our plants that have a long growing season. And I want to take you through the soil mixture and the types of containers and what you do with those in just a few minutes. It shouldn't take too long and we'll have some plants growing. I should put my gloves on. I have these famous gloves that, oh, they're so cute, and I have this little ladybug on them. Can you see that? Oh, but they're not my size. Doggone it. I wish I could wear cute gloves like that. Well, let's talk about what kinds of things you would like to plant indoors. The indoor growing season can be about 5 weeks, 6 weeks prior to needing to plant the plants in the garden. Many of our plants are very sensitive to frost, and here in Northwest Missouri we may have a frost into the first part of May. So it's good to have those plants strong and sturdy and ready to go in the garden once all the frost is passed. Now there's some things that could be planted in the garden now, once my ground dries out, and we'll go out to the garden soil in my next lesson and talk about planting those early seeds in the ground. For instance, peas and lettuce and even beets could be planted now, providing the soil was ready. But it's not, so we'll do that in another lesson. What I would like to do today is start some plants from seeds. Watermelon, bell peppers, and tomatoes. Ooh, could do some jalapenos, could do some leeks, a whole lot of things. But I've got these seeds here ready to show you what we could do. Now, why is it important to buy seeds from the store? These, we might look at let's look at a tomato. Gosh, there's seeds in a tomato. Why can't I just pull those seeds out of there and let them dry out and plant them? Typically, our seeds are hybrids, and they're not going to reproduce. And these are going to grow this year. They were packed for the 2020 growing season. So I know I'm going to start with a good product. Why do we grow these particular ones in the spring? Well, let's look at there's a lot of information on the back of the packets. For instance, tomatoes, this brandywine pink fruited tomato takes 90 to 100 days to harvest. Could be 4 months. Well, I'm ready for tomatoes before then. We can cut that time down by planting them indoors for about 6 weeks. So that takes care of that question. And the peppers, again, they can't be planted till after the frost. And we have watermelon. It takes 75 to 95 days. I'm hungry already. Well, what kind of soil would you start indoors in your plants? We'll have that soil mixture, and then we have to have some clean, what we call sterile containers. Styrofoam cups are not environmentally friendly, but sometimes we end up with a lot of them donated to 4-H, and sometimes they're left behind after a party, and I hate to throw them away and put them in landfill, but if they can serve another purpose, all the better. So I planted mine in styrofoam cups. You could use a yogurt cup. You could even use an egg carton. So something that will keep the seeds separate, and it needs to be sterile and clean. And any tools that you're going to use. Oh, isn't that cute? That goes with my small gloves. Oh, Debbie, you're getting sidetracked. I washed my trowel to stir the soil mixture with, so it's clean. My bucket is clean that I'm going to do the mixing in. So whatever choice of container, it's going to need to be something that will last for a few weeks, and it's going to be inside. It needs to be sterile and repurpose, recycle. Vermiculite, sphagnum peat moss, and homegrown compost. Those are the 3 ingredients you're going to need for a seed starting mixture. You just can't go out to the garden and get some soil. It's too heavy. The seeds are so tiny and fragile. Did I show you the size of the seeds yet? Well, you'll be surprised at how small they are, and they grow into big plants. My homegrown compost, if you have horses or if you have chickens or if you have some other livestock, you might be able to find some compost in your barns or your poultry houses. However, some of them, like horse manure and chicken manure, poop, okay, those are very, very rich, and they take about 9 months to a year to what we call compost and make them so that they won't hurt your plants. So this is your old horse manure along with some soil and maybe just a little bit of composted hay and decomposed. So great, great, great. But I have to use these in mixtures. So the formula or the recipe is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So if you just would like to make this very carefully, I'm going to take a measuring cup, and this is the vermiculite. This is interesting stuff, but look how light it is. This helps to make the seed starting mixture very light and doesn't make it a problem for the seeds to start germinating. Sphagnum peat moss, and these are available at any Lowe's, Home Depot, hardware store, probably any garden center. And this is my compost, my homegrown compost, thanks to my horses. And so you can see it's, again, light. It has some little straw pieces. That's not going to hurt anything. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Whatever your measuring device, just a third. I'm going to make just a little bit more. So here we go, another cup of horse compost. And then sphagnum moss. And then the vermiculite. Oh, pretty, pretty. We'll set those aside. And now I have my trowel that I can mix very thoroughly. I need some water to mix this with, and I'm going to go back to my kitchen and get some water. I'll be right back. Okay, we're ready to do some planting. I am going to put gloves on. As I mix this, it might get a little messy. Drainage is important in your containers, whatever you make, whatever you're using. And for instance, in the styrofoam cups or in the egg cartons, I just take a pencil and poke. It doesn't have to be a huge hole, but just a little hole for drainage. Plants do not like to get soggy. Okay, they need to have air get to their roots. So just poke holes. And I'm just going to do one in this cup. Now, whoops, things are blowing away. These seeds are tiny, and I want to remember what I planted in each container. I think I'm going to plant some more tomatoes. So I'm going to take a marker, and I have more than one variety, so I'm going to put the Brandywine. It's hard to write with plastic gloves on. And just out of interest, you might want to put what the date is. It's 3/27/2020. So there we go. I'm not going to plant a lot. I'm just going to plant and show you how to do this. So the soil is all mixed, thoroughly mixed. I should say seed starting mixture. We're going to put a little bit of moisture in this. And this is what's going to help the seeds germinate. To germinate, that might be one of those new spelling words for some of you out there. Germinate means to break open and grow. And our seeds are going to break open and start growing. And it's just amazing. This little teeny tiny seed grows into a beautiful big vegetable plant. It's getting a little breezy out here and my chimes are making some pleasant noises. So, and you're probably wondering what mixture what dampness or moisture content I'm looking for. I don't want it soggy, but just, we could even squeeze some of that, but it needs some moisture. Okay, let me set that aside and show you what I mean. Just enough to barely hold its shape together. Can you see that? It's not, I'm not making a ball, mud ball or anything, but it's just enough, and I know that the moisture is going to stay in those particular products, and that they hold moisture plus being light so that the seeds will have no conflicts. And I'm going to put just a little bit more in, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, very good. Not soggy. I don't think I can wring any water out. Perfect. Okay, let's put some soil in. And I say soil, I need to be careful. It's really seed starter mix. Don't want to be confusing. And I really like to get my fingers in the dirt to plant. So I was going to take these tomatoes. We're back. I've moved the camera in a little closer because some of these details I think you don't want to miss. So we have our soil pot, our seed starting mixture, and it's been moistened. We have a drain hole. I've labeled the cup. These are my tomato seeds. You know what? And I set some out here. I think you might be interested to see how tiny a tomato seed is. So we're going to take that seed and we're going to put it just in the top of the soil and just slightly cover it up. Maybe press it down in just a little. This is moistened, and I'm almost ready to go set it in a nice, cozy, warm place, like 70, 75 degrees, away from drafts. It does not need to be in the sun yet. And I'm just going to take a little water. I'm just dripping water out of this drinking bottle, and I'm just going to put a few more drops in the top. And then it needs to be covered with plastic. That will help keep it warm, help it germinate. We want that seed to wake up and grow. When it has sprouted, and I'm going to show you what I planted last weekend, tilt the camera so you can see, look at what's happened. I have tomato plants growing already. Oh my gosh. So what I did was take my cake pans, I don't need those right now, and I just filled them with my cups, covered them with plastic, and I just used plastic wrap. Or if you have some other ideas, plastic, sometimes bags will work. You just need to keep it warm. So there you go. I'm starting a tomato plant here. So let's review. We're going to use a soil starter mixture, which is a third of sphagnum moss, peat moss, a third of vermiculite, and a third of compost. Or it could be soil, or we've discussed that. We're going to moisten the mixture. We put a hole in the bottom of our growing cup, a container. It needs to be small. Or you could have, I guess, a whole pan and do a row. That's another option. 1 to 2 seeds per cup. Cover with a plastic and then keep it warm. It does not need to be in the sun at this point. It's going to take 5, 6, 7 days for it to germinate, and you'll start seeing plants just like mine. After germination, we're going to move it to a sunny spot and maybe some grow lights or just some lights. That's our next lesson. So Oh, my little ladybug says, happy gardening, and how does your garden grow? Thank you.